So this is a proof with angle addition instead of segment addition. So the previous one I did, I focused on the segment addition one, but they might also throw this kind of one at you where you have angles. So really at the beginning here, when we're doing introduction to proofs, it's either going to be segment addition or angle addition, one of the two. So complete the proof by choosing the correct reason. So they give you all the statements to get from what they give you the beginning to the end where they want you to prove. Okay, remember, if you don't put it in the proof, it doesn't exist. I usually start with my given information, but they don't always start with given information, which is perfectly fine. If you remember back when we started this, there was that activity we did about getting dressed and how there are quite a few different ways that we could, get dressed with our different items of clothing, and it's not going to affect the others. Some do affect the others. Like if we're talking about socks and shoes, well, I need to put on my socks before I put on my shoes. Yes, assuming that we wear both, okay? Because if I put my shoes on first, that's going to cause problems. So kind of the same idea when we're doing a proof. There are some things that are required before the next step. Okay, so let's go through and look at our given information. This is definitely an involved looking diagram here. So it says we're given that angle QPS is equal to angle VPT. If you don't have this piece of paper, which you should, this is your notes page, but if you don't have it, definitely draw this so that you can copy this down and label. If you're working on ALEKS, copy down the diagram and label it up, okay? Actually mark up what you've done. It's much easier to follow along that way instead of just trying to remember what you've done. Okay, so here's QPS and here's VPT, and I put them in slightly different colors of red, but the red, they are congruent to each other. They're equal. So I know, really, I'm ignoring this section in the middle here. It's just this section over here and this section over here, okay? The next piece they give me is that angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. So I just marked those with arcs here. Make that a little easier. I didn't do the arcs on the big ones because I didn't want to go through both and kind of be confusing about that. I was trying to do the whole angle. So this is what I've been given. And right away, without even having any given information, I can start doing angle addition. So QPS, that's the brighter red one here, is equal to the small angle 1 and the slightly larger angle 2. Well, those are the two angles that make up the whole thing, right? The whole red one, bright red one. So this is angle addition postulate. I can add the two smaller angles together to get the larger one. Same thing with the VPT. So VPT, the darker red angle here, is equal to the slightly smaller blue, or angle 3, to the slightly larger angle 4. Well, those are the two angles that make up the whole thing. So if I add them together, I'll get the entire angle. So again, angle addition property. I didn't really need to know any information other than just seeing the diagram to be able to use these two. Okay. The next piece they give me, QPS is equal to VPT. Well, that is given. I can't just guess on that one. Even if the diagram looks like it, you do not guess. It has to be either given or you have to be able to prove it. So the only way I know this one is because it was given to me. It's that first piece of given information. And they usually have a button here that says send a given, but on this one they might not because they're just having you fill in the reasons. And then on this one it says angle 1 plus angle 2 is equal to angle 3 plus angle 4. So this is a very big change from step 3 to 4. But what I want you to do is I want you to picture QPS, just like we had in angle 3. And then if you notice I circled up here, well, what do we know QPS equals? It equals angle 1 plus angle 2. And then same thing if I picture this as I did with with step 3 here, VPT. Well, what do I know VPT equals? It equals angle 3 plus angle 4, right? So now what I can do is I'm going to substitute. I'm just going to use the piece that I'm circling. I know that QPS equals angle 1 plus angle 2, and I know that VPT equals angle 3 plus 4. So this is what we call substitution. I'm substituting one thing for something I know to be equal to it. So I have angle 1 and 2 is the same as angle 3 and 4. All right, now they've stated that angle 1 is equal to angle 3. So this is another one. It might look like angle 1 and 3, but if you remember, we marked that at the beginning because that was our given information. Okay, so I only know that because it was given to me. And again, don't trust the diagram. Don't, pull out a protractor and start measuring these angles. They should be equal, but don't trust the diagram. Unless it's specifically telling you to do measurements, don't do it that way. It has to be given to you, or you have to be able to prove it with some other piece like angle addition, something like that. Okay, so it's given to me. So we're going to do this piece again here, or if you notice, from step 4 to step 5, I keep messing up my wording here, 4 to 6. So there's not a whole lot of difference here. If you notice, it was angle 1 and 2, and now it's 3 and 2. 3 and 3, 4 and 4. So the only thing that changed was angle 1 to angle 3. Well, in step 5, we just said that angle 1 is equal to angle 3. So if we picture this just for a second as angle 1, well, angle 1 is equal to angle 3. So can I just replace it from step 4 to step 6? Instead of saying angle 1, I'm saying angle 3. So again, this is substitution. I'm substituting angle 3 for angle 1. And then if you notice from step 6 to step 7, I don't have my angle 3's anymore. I have angle 2 equals angle 4, so the angle 3 has disappeared. So what happens if I have the same thing on both sides, I can use the subtraction property and subtract angle 3 on both sides of the equation. Well, angle 3 minus angle 3 is 0 on both sides, so I'm left with angle 2 is equal to angle 4. So this is the subtraction addition property. So this was using the introduction to proofs, but with angle addition. I hope that helped, and I'll see you in the next video.